Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another great episode of Full Steam Ahead. I am your host for today, Cantu. I got my boy Seven on the other side. How's it going, Seven?
Going well. Little wet week here, but I'm ready to recap the series that we got going this week before we go in and get a preview as well of the we got coming this weekend.
Yeah, luckily, the Astros play in a closed stadium because if not, some rain delays could have been happening, or just flooding on around. I know that bridge on navigation. I have to take that. Been crazy again. So Houston and rain don't go together, but the Astros playing against the White Sox went well for them. They lost the first game, but they ended up winning the series 2 out of 3. Uh, yeah, and it's going to be a good weekend. Father's Day weekend coming up too. Uh, we have some first time fathers who are getting ready to get, I guess, their first gift. Maybe maybe go to a baseball game or something like that. But do you have any plans for Father's Day, Seven? Do like that?
Uh, who knows? I mean, a lot of fathers in my family, you know what I mean? So probably
Absolutely.
all get together and make some food or kind of wanted to go to the game with my grandpa, but we'll see how depending on everything goes. I probably won't be able to have the time to take them because they're gonna be getting on my butt about why ain't I there at the function.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like how you were saying earlier, it's like those Hispanic families always wanting to gather around and do everything together as a family. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm probably just go out to eat. That's what I like doing. I don't have to cook anything. I'm just chilling, just keeping it chill, keeping it cool.
Relaxing,
But if you, yeah,
just a chill
absolutely,
guy.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it's a if you're an Astros fan, it was a great, series. The Astros got to uh beat up a little bit on the Chicago White Sox and take 2 out of 3. And I guess you could say the Astros curse is kind of dead too because the Astros did score 10 runs um on Wednesday and came up winning the next day. But we're gonna give you all that good stuff. We're gonna give you the recap of the Sox series. We're gonna be talking about Christian Walker a little bit too. I think his bat is finally coming to start around. We'll also talk about Jeremy Pena, who has been really great this season for the Astros. We're also going to be previewing the Minnesota series with a former Astro, Carlos Correa, will be in town. Latest on Astros injuries, and that is it. The Astros are 37 and 30, first in the AL West, and a 4 game lead on the Angels. Oh, 5 game lead now on the Angels and Seattle. So before we get into any of that, you can just to get where you can follow us at, you can find us at Full Steam Ahead on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can also hear us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But we do have some comments coming in. Self fan Brady Sanchez, what's up, man? Hope everything's good. Kevin Stern on the other said couldn't wait for the pod Thursday, couldn't come any quick. We appreciate that. And then, just to find it, great comments so far. Keep them up. Uh, we love hearing your, interaction.
Yeah, we really appreciate y'all, those who continue to show in and show out and make yourself recognized here at the pod. And I really thank you for giving us y'all time and giving us a listen.
Absolutely. But we'll start with game one. Like I said, 5 game lead in the AL West the Astros have against the Angels of Seattle, who had a day off today. So that's why the 5 games now. But the Angels, I mean, just quick talk about them. Christian Moore is being caught up, and they're playing really great baseball over there in LA. I think they have they are 33 and 34. Only again, sorry, 4.5 games back off the Astros, and they're 7 and 3 in the last 10 games. So good things coming up in Anaheim and Seattle as well. But game one, Astros lost 4-2, and I told you last podcast this was not going to be a cakewalk. The Astros were getting some of the White Sox best pitchers, and they got Shane Smith, and you got to tip your cap to him. He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Really had the Astros, fooled a little bit on the plate, and it didn't help when Lance McCullers got into trouble with walks in this last outing. Lance McCullers is 1-2 with a 4.91 ERA versus the White Sox 2 and 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Now, so we've seen Lance McCullers at his best this season, and he's seen Lance McCullers struggling. How important is it to get Lance McCullers back in his groove?
It's a key meaning to this rotation. We really need him to do well. This time was a little rough on the lineup, but he produced. But at least he ate a little bit what we needed him to eat up, at least to show out for us. But we need him to eventually stay flawless and try to come in and be good every game. You know, you can't always have perfection out of somebody, but the better that he can be, the better it helps the team in pursuing a run. He just got to stay healthy and you can't just get bothered, you know, when things aren't going his way. He got to stay mentally strong, as in, like, you know, when Framberg runs into trouble, Framber tends to like go into a different, you know, zone, different level. He tones in and he locks in. So I mean, sometimes you just gotta rub stuff off, whether you're not getting strikes or plays are not getting made. You just gotta kind of rub things off and keep it going, stay in your groove because you know the team needs you to perform.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance McCullers, like we said, is going to be very important. I do want to highlight this comment. Twisted in this spot is a good life. You know what, Kevin? Pass it Twisted over here too, because
Yeah, might need a shotgun one real quick
ex-
for the series
exactly.
win.
You know, I feel like, have you tried those hoop teas?
Which ones are those?
It's like a twisted tea, but it's called hoop tea. It's like basically, but I think those were pretty
Man,
good.
those teas, they're not good, but they're freaking dangerous, bro. They'll give you like the worst freaking hangover. You'll be head spinning middle of the night,
Yeah,
like, damn, what did I just get myself into?
and then they sneak up on you real quick, you know, like because you don't really taste the alcohol sometimes. It's like, oh man, these are just like water and
Yeah,
bam, you're on the
you
floor.
know, you bring it on the floor puking.
Absolutely. And there you go. I got for your next frog. But and then Ray Sanchez playoff McCullers is who we need. If you're Astros fan, that's exactly who you need. But that's McCullers, 96 pitches. He threw 42 sliders, 20 sinkers, 14 uppercuts, 13 changeups, and 7 cutters. Again, 4 walks are the most he allowed all season. That's what kind of really affected him. Like Lorenzo and I have preached walks leads to runs, and that's exactly what happened there. But it all happened in the second time of the rotation for Lance McCullers. That's when he was able to, cruise by 2.5 innings, and then after that, the second time the White Sox came around, that's when the damage started to happen. So wh- I think this was a forget and forget uh, start for Lance McCullers. I just think next time, I expect him to be a lot better than what he showed this time.
Yeah, I believe so.
However,
It's
go
one of
ahead.
those games. I believe so. It's just one of those games, you know, it happens. It's not gonna be, you know, flawless, especially with all the time that he's been sitting out on the injury, you know, consecutively before in the past. So, you know, he has to find his groove and be a MLB player again.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, this was just I guess you can say ugly game all around for the Astros because the Astros got more hits. The White Sox only had 4 hits this entire game. The
Mhm.
Astros had 9. Usually when you get out hit, it's usually fares well for you. For example, when the Astros, give me 1 second. Okay, when you'll say, oh, so when they out hit their opponent, the Astros are 30-12. In this case, this was one of those losing times when they out hit their opponent. But Pena went 2 for 4, Altuve 2 for 4, Baez was 0 for 2 but with an RBI. Walker 1 for 3, Diaz 0 for 3 with an RBI. It's Caratini, Smith, Mutton, all had a hit. So I mean, the offense, got the hits, but just not those situational hits that could have led to runs scored. I'm about to give you how many runners were left on that day. So it was they left 7 runners on, and the team was 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Again, it's just we did that tip your caps to the White Sox for making the pitches that needed to be made in those high leverage situations.
Yeah, nothing to mention too, due to the lack of hitting of our offense. Shane Smith had an amazing game. He showed out, and I believe he was a former closer from Wake Forest or a reliever
Right.
that they transferred into a starter. So for being coming from two different roles and being a starter in the MLB, he showed some good signs. So the future is good for him for sure.
Yeah,
The White
I think
Sox
it was.
fans be happy about that one.
I think it was more because of the Pope wearing a White Sox hat that
Yeah,
being
you give
locked
him
on
good
the
luck.
birthday. Exactly. So
Yeah, the
that's
Pope
probably
knows
why.
ball. The Pope knows ball. It's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I I could be wrong, but I don't remember like another time a Pope wore a baseball hat, over there in the Vatican. So
Another.
that's pretty nice to see.
I wonder if he was a big fan of Abreu. Whenever he was a White Sox,
Probably. Hey,
he probably
MVP,
was
MVP.
MVP, possibly. No, for sure, he was probably a fan of Chris Sale.
Even Jeff Blum too. That's on the.
Oh yeah, he have a
Astros.
statue of him, right? I believe.
I could be. I don't know.
I think somebody has a statue of him. It might be them. I remember like before in the games they're showing like Dubon and him were like in front of the statue, blah blah, talking about it.
Okay. Yeah, I might have missed that, but I mean, you could be right.
But another thing that I wanted to mention too about offense, on the infield single that Altuve hit in the first, that was the league leading in infield hits.
Oh wow. You would think it would be like Pena or something, right? But
So I
okay.
mean, probably after these past two games, it might be Pena now, but I'm sure they're both neck to neck with it because they've been both been getting a lot of infield hit, the two of them.
Okay. What you got for game 2-7?
Um, let me see. So for game two, we got Ryan Gusto has his best start / longest outing of his career. The Astros win that one 10-2. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. 4-3 with a 4.56 ERA. He had 91 pitches, 47 fastballs, 13 curveballs, 13 cutters, 8 changeups, 4 sweepers, 4 sliders, and 2 sinkers. So he definitely displayed better command this time and way more confidence. A few things weren't going his way, and you can see he seemed a little bothered in this game, but he seems to rub things off and continue to find his groove. And he took a step forward for sure. Astros fans were definitely hoping and in need of a start like this from Gusto. A lot of people were probably riding him off. I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't riding him off, but he was starting to get like, bad thoughts, you know what I mean, out of me, like losing hope in the guy. But it's a good thing, and hopefully this is what continued to build on it, and he can progress as he goes forward for us.
Yeah, absolutely. This is again Ryan Gusto's probably best start as an Astro. Inning wise and pitching wise, he was able to uh, get to the White Sox offense. So far, he's pitched 49.1 innings this season. So I'm looking right now to see if that's the longest he's pitched. You know, throughout his career, even
It
with
might be. He had 91 pitches as well,
well,
66%
yeah.
with strikes,
But I'm saying like in the
like
minors,
in the
is that
minors too total.
yeah. So
Possibly.
he's like last year for Sugarland, he did pitch 148 innings. So right now again he's at 49.1. So I think he's still in a good spot. To me, it's just an adjusting period for him. He's still a rookie. Like all rookies comes in different shapes and sizes and abilities, I would say. Like some rookies are able to come out and just hammer at the pitch like Paul Skeens or even that guy from Milwaukee who's like throwing 102 miles an hour.
Oh, you're talking about Jacob Mizorowski, the one they
There
called
you
up
go.
today?
Yeah.
Man,
So
I'm a fan of him, dude. He has a freaking crazy arm angle. Like Loki, like another like Granky probably. He's funky. I
yeah,
think it was like 5 innings hitless until he freaking like jumped off the mound wrong and like rolled his ankle or
yeah,
something. Then they had to pull him. So that's unfortunate.
yeah. So I mean, rookies, right? They're gonna come. They would say like luckily, like that pitcher has 100-mile-per-hour fastball, so it might be easier
I
for
think
him to get
90, I
adjusted.
think 96 on the slider too, which is like
Yeah.
disgusting.
So when you got stuff like that, you're able to get away with stuff, with those rookie mistakes. But a guy with Gusto who's not going to have an overpowering fastball, it's all about location and pitch selection. So he's going to get into some trouble, but it's picking your wins, right? So this was his best start. So now you just got to build on that and say that, kind of give him the boost of confidence to say that he can pitch in the major leagues. He has that ability. I know it's the White Sox, but they still have a great squad over there. And even in that first game, you can even say that's the Luis Robert Jr. game because it's
Yeah,
crazy. Every time he comes to Houston, he decides to show out and, being able to get him out, with that talent he has over there, that's a big plus for Gusto.
Yeah, for sure. And the offense wasn't shy this game either, especially with Altuve picking up career hit number 2,300.
Yeah,
That's a big milestone for Altuve. I believe. Cool little stat here. He's the eighth player since 2000 to hit his milestone, and last five players with 2,300 hits in 8,320 plate appearance or fewer: Robinson Cano 2017, Miguel Cabrera 2015, Michael Young 2013, Ichiro 2011, and Vladimir Guerrero 2010. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely. And then we got another comment. Uh, can I say he did good, but still he still caused anxiety. I mean, I can see that with Gusto just because he's still getting up to speed. But yeah, speaking about Tui, like you did say, he has 2,300 hits that he got in game two. He's ranked third in all time in the Astros organization. He chose Jeff Bagwell, who uh, has a lead of 14 hits. You can only assume that he'll pass Jeff Bagwell this season, and that he'll only be tracing Craig Biggio, who obviously has 3,060 hits.
Yeah, but as for more as the offense we speak of, we can't forget to mention Christian Walker. He had a game-changing two-run shot. It was to make the Astros 3-0, 107.6 projected. I mean, off the bat and projected 412 feet. That was his 34 RBI with a 31-degree launch angle. I think it was his ninth homer of the season at that moment.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
commentators call him the A train. Me and my grandpa, we call him Walker Knot because
there
like
you
the
go.
astronauts in Houston and stuff. So I was like, that's the Walker Knot.
There you go. That's a great nickname. Hey, again, put down a T-shirt. Put down a T-shirt. But yeah, I mean, the offense was good. Pena 2 for 4, an RBI. Baez was 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs there.
Yeah, everybody was hitting.
Himself a
I
night
think
three
they
for
had
four,
like,
4 RBIs.
I believe it was like seven doubles or something like that that they had that night. So
Yeah,
everybody was just
something
freaking
like
having a
that.
hit train.
Uh, I think we might have lost that one a little bit, or is it me? Was I used that one, or was it me?
what? What happened? I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. My screen froze, but I don't know if you were like zoned out or
That's probably like
it
a
was
little
mine.
lag, little glitch in the
Yeah,
matrix.
yeah. But I didn't really hear what you said. That last part right now.
I don't even remember.
It's
Just
all
keep it
good.
flowing. Oh, and
It's all good.
also another thing that they had mentioned about Hunter Brown too. He's franchise lowest scored his innings pitched by pitch streaks. So Roy Oswald 32.1 in 2008, Junior Richard 31 and 79 in 1980, Don Wilson 29 innings in 1967, Daryl Kyle 28.2 in 1993, and Hunter Brown 28 innings in 2025.
Cool, cool, cool. I like the stat again. Hashtag stats with Esteban. So uh, that'll be here from now on. And we have another comment, Jacob Araldo. We win today? Did the Astros win today? I'm about to answer that question right now. So the Astros won game three of the series to take the series over the White Sox 4-3. It all started with Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. Now, I'll I'll give it to the White Sox hitters. They made Framber Valdez work for this win. Like the curveball was phenomenal. I think he had 12 whiffs on the curveball alone. It was, he just had it going. It was a weapon on his back pocket the entire time. But again, like I said, the White Sox made him work. He did get into some high leverage stuff innings, was able to get around most of it, but he did allow those 2 runs. But 12 strikeouts, that's a big one. This is back to back starts with double digit strikeouts. He did have 11 last outing, 12 now. Like I said, Valdez is trying to earn a paycheck, trying to prove to the Astros that he can be their ace, and he's been good. I want to say it was a good move. I think it was in that fourth inning. I'm sorry, that fifth inning when the pitching coach came to kind of relax Framber Valdez down. He just had given up the second earned run of the night, and he was kind of upset with himself because I guess he thought he made a good pitch. The hitter just poked it the other way. Pitching coach grabbed him by the shoulders, just told him to relax, and then struck out the next batter to get out the inning and earn himself a win. But it was an all around effort for this game. The bullpen, Josh Hader, 18 for 18 in saves. He is tied for third in saves in Major League. He only chose Robert Suarez from the Padres with 21, Carlos Estevez from KC, Andres Munoz from the Seattle with 19, and Kyle Finnegan with 19. And I think I said Estevez 18, but Estevez has 19 as well. But I mean, pitching looked great for the Astros. I mean, the White Sox again, I guess a major league team, so they did make them work, but they came up with the win.
Yeah, Framber seemed a little ticked off whenever the little singles. I mean, despite facing only one lefty in tonight's matchup,
Yeah.
he just could not get Cuero and Vargas out. They both just seemed like a headache for him tonight,
Yeah.
especially with Cuero being the only two RBIs off of him.
And he's a rookie too, so he if he was able to tag Framber Valdez, it shows you how good he is.
Yeah, because after one of the outs or whatever, they threw the ball around, and whenever they throw the ball back to Framber, he just barehands it and catches like this, is like ticked off, and it was just like he proceeds to get the strikeout on the next batter, but he was just bothered so bad. He punched his glove as he walked off the mound into the dugout.
Yeah, but that curveball,
It
it
was dumb.
was it was dominant this outing. I think he struck out
He was just
Palacios.
spamming it.
Yeah, he struck out Palacios on the ball. I didn't even reach home plate. I think it landed like a few feet in front of home plate, and he
Like
got
4
into
feet.
chase. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, he had them looking silly with that pitch, but it worked. Astros won, and he did get some help from the offense. Isaac Paredes hit his 15th home run of the season. Uh, Another pull shot. It's not a Crawford box today. He did make it down low ratings, but another pull shot there. Pena went 2 for 4 in every game of this White Sox series. He's batting 324 now. Altuve was 2 for 4 with two RBIs. Diaz 3 for 4, batting 248 now. I remember Diaz is batting in the low 200s to start the season, kind of struggling, but he's been finding it. And I think a big thing to that makes Johnny Diaz such a great hitter is being able to go oppo and not trying to pull everything. I think a few of his last few hits have been to the opposite field, especially home runs too. And then Walker 1 for 4 as well.
Yeah, I want to say Paredes is leading in the AL with that home run. I think for third baseman with that, and I believe that home run today that he hit, and like it was like a kind of like left center gap. That was like his first out of like 91 in his career or something like that. That was like his first ever hitting in that area. It was 400 feet, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Isaac Paredes got some real pop too. So I mean, whenever makes good
Don't
contact,
sleep
it's
on
gonna.
don't sleep on the Mexican man. He got some hit.
We have some
Uh,
comments coming in. Brendan Rodgers doesn't look comfortable in his at bats. So it's probably keep him or let Dubon get some bat reps. I mean, that's a good question. I think could be for Rodgers is that he doesn't get enough consistent at bats to get it going on the plate. I mean, he's shown that he can hit, he can hit for power, but I just think consistency might be the issue for him. And it's kind of hard to do that when you have like Dubon playing well. You have Altuve still playing a little bit of second base there, but I think once he gets a little bit more consistent at bats, and I think he can get it going.
yeah, I think he's just trying to find his groove, especially from playing most of his career in a different elevation in Coors Stadium. High elevation, the ball flies out there, and you come down here where you don't get no type of help. It's just all pure power. But he's swinging the bat hard. He's just probably not seeing the ball right. It's just something not comfortable. But hopefully, he could find something out before worst thing comes to worst, and it sucks to lose him.
Yeah. Again, and Dubon's been playing pretty good too, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see Dubon at second base tomorrow if Altuve's not playing second. But what about Altuve making a play in the outfield? I don't know if you saw that
Oh
jumping
yeah,
grab he made.
that was nice. My mom was like screaming, clapping. She was like, "Too bad!" I was like, "Oh, that was cool."
And he got some air too behind that jump too. So I mean,
Little jump
he's
man.
gonna have to do that. He's not that tall to be, making walk catches, but he can
Man,
use his feet.
speaking of wild catches, did you see the one of Denzel Clark? Whenever he
Oh
reaches over
yeah,
the fence, he was like pretty much like sitting on top of the left center wall. That was like one of the craziest catches I've probably ever seen, and that was like his second like web gem in the past week or so.
yeah, absolutely. Well, even here when in the A's Right Park, you saw him rob. I think Cam Smith of a hit off the wall with that catch. Yeah, Denzel Clark, defensively, sorry, is the real deal. He can
Yeah,
really
they're gonna
cover
have a
some
nice
ground.
little outfield out there going on with him and Butler.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a catch here for Clark, but dude, imagine hitting a ball down the right center gap, like you said, Lawrence Butler and Clark getting to that. That's like a no-fly zone right there.
Yeah, you're not gonna get no doubles off of them. But
Yeah,
anyway, the one thing I did want to bring up: the Astros have not lost a series at home to the White Sox since 2016, and they don't plan on stopping that streak either. So that's a good thing to show out there.
yeah. I mean, but did they lose the most important series to the White Sox and and a long time ago? So
Yeah.
I don't think
Uh,
fans want to hear about that.
I wanted to throw something in there too about Framber too.
Go
He has
ahead.
he is allowing the lowest slugging to opposing teams for a starter in franchise history, following Junior Richard with a .295 year, Nolan Ryan .308, Mike Suler 3.29, Don Wilson .33, and Framber Valdez .336 in minimum of 600 innings or fewer.
Okay. Nice little stat there. I mean, that's a good company to be of whenever you hear the name J.R. Richard, Nolan Ryan, and any of those Astros, history points. That's a really good name to be a part of. Now, as you see, this episode is called Christian Walker's Bat is Hot, and so we're gonna talk about it, right. I think early this season, a lot of people were saying, I like I heard the noise on social media is that Christian Walker is not producing the way he wanted to. I've even seen people say that he is like, for example, comparing him to Jose Abreu and all that good, all that stuff right there. But I think he's slowly finding to feel the groove a little bit, especially in game two when he had 4 RBIs. And he's hitting 217, right? 9 home runs, 33 RBIs. That's obviously not where he wants to be this season, but he's had to scratch and claw his way back into form. And when you start slow, that's why his numbers are there. But he's slowly getting around. He's had 9 doubles and has a 653 OPS career wise. But over his last 15 games, Christian Walker has batted 291 at 16 hits and 55 at bats with 1 double, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and an 866 OPS. He has 9 home runs in total, and the fact that four of them came in the last 15 games just kind of shows that slowly but surely Christian Walker is coming into form, and and a big thing from that is that he's benefited from playing in Houston. Just everybody was talking on about how bringing Isaac Paredes to Houston was going to be a great thing because of the Crawford boxes. Well, Christian Walker, that's another person who's been taking advantage of that. I'm gonna say this stat just for the Astros at home have been playing very well, which is a big difference. So right now the Astros are averaging 4.52 runs per game at home, which is nearly a full run higher than their road average is 3.55. Several Astros are raking at home, including Christian Walker. At home, Christian Walker has 24 RBIs. He has 33 in total, but at home, 24 RBIs and has an 810 OPS. Jeremy Pena has also been playing well at home. Jeremy Pena at home has a 368 batting average with 20 RBIs and a 991 OPS. Jose Altuve as well, 331 average, 7 home runs, 894 OPS at home. And Isaac Baez, obviously, with 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, 846 at home. Now, how beneficial do you think, Sevan, is Christian Walker to this Houston team?
Oh, he's a big key to this offense. I mean, he's been a slugger like his whole career, and then plus having him out there on defense, he's just like another field general. Like he knows what to do with the ball. He keeps the ball in front. He makes minimal error. Dude's a slugger. He's an all-out baseball player. He just has to find his groove. Most of his career he's been in Arizona with the D-backs, and then making a move over to a different clubhouse may not always be the easiest thing for some ball players. Some players are very superstitious, have their same routines, or like to eat certain things. And you get used to being in a city and going this and this place, eating this and this, and sleep schedules, weather. there's a lot of things that come into factor with this, but I believe Christian's starting to find his groove, and it's a good time that he starts heating up, especially, with Jordan coming back soon and having multiple sluggers in the lineup could be beneficial. One thing I wanted to throw out there that they said, oh, even though he's off to a slow start, he's leading the league in the perfect, I think, 22 swings on elevated breaking balls. So he has not missed on a breaking ball that's elevated. He has made contact with at least fouled off every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, and what he's been doing lately in these last 15 games is taking a little bit more pitches. And once he's able to take a little bit more pitches, not being as aggressive, because as a hitter, sometimes when you're not performing, right? You want to contribute to your team, you get a little bit more antsy at times and want to swing at pitches. Well, a big thing from last year is him being able to hit off the fastball. So in 2024, Christian Walker had a batting average on the fastball of 253. Right now it's 220, right? But a big thing of it is that he's swinging at a lot of breaking pitches and off sweep pitches, and that's kind of been affecting him a little bit from that because, again, not taking pitches, trying to be a little too aggressive there. But I think he's close to finding his groove. I think he's close to being, right where he's at. I think he's close to being the Christian Walker that's advertised that the Astros signed. The reason why they gave him all that money, and it just takes time. The fact that he's uh not upset about me moving down the order, the fact that he's being a team guy, I think that just speaks volume of his character as well. That he's working his way back, and you know, I was at the game before the gates open, and you saw him taking extra cuts on the field with Jose Altuve, with Dubon. So he's out there doing what he's got to do to make sure he gets back to form, and he's doing a really good job. And again, him being able to hit the fastball is a big thing. In 2025, like I said, he has a two. Actually, it just updated right now, a 214 batting average on the fastball compared to 246 last year. So it's a big thing there. So once he gets that fastball going, he should be good to go.
Yeah, it's just a confidence thing and having the right approach. Sometimes he might be coming in with a different approach, maybe sitting on the breaking ball or not expecting the heater, or he just completely misses the heater. So eventually he's going to click it on and he's going to be running on all cylinders, be able to hit, be able to function fully on defense, and he'll be a superstar fan favorite. I mean, we paid a lot for this guy, but we know what he's capable of doing. So don't be don't write him off.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think again, it's not even half the season yet. Uh, like the Astros, they're normally a second half team, so could be that the case for Walker as well. But we could also talk about someone who's been, uh, I wouldn't say a surprise for the Astros, but I would say is finally living up to what the Astros believed he can do, and that is Jeremy Pena. I know we've been praising him a lot, but ever since Jeremy Pena moved to the leadoff spot in the batting order on April 27th, he's responded by hitting 366 with 11 doubles, 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, and a 965 OPS. And in those 40 starts, since that date, among qualified leadoff hitters in the AL, Pena ranks first in batting average and on base percentage, and he ranks second in slugging and OPS. So he's been like the shortstop that the Astros been missing since Correa left. Like, just replacing that. And I would say this: I think as of right now, he's playing a little better than Correa. I would say just because he's able to stay on the field, he's able to hit a little bit for power. I think the thing with Correa is that he would be surging for like a week and a half, and then he'll be struggling for another 2 weeks, and it'll just be a back and forth roller coaster. But Jeremy Pena has been consistently hot, consistently be using his legs a lot more. So as of right now, I think as of late in this, I would say golden era of the Astros, I would I think it's safe to say that Jeremy Pena has been the best shortstop for that era.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really confident in this whole team in general, and especially in behind Jeremy Pena, the way he's playing. Like every ball that hits him, he's pretty much a vacuum out there. He's making plays. Every at bat, he's seeing pitches. He's chasing a little less, what it seems like, and he's making a lot of contact, and he's hitting a little more for power this season. I mean, today he almost missed a home run, or was it? I think it was today or tonight, like just shy of the Crawford. I think hitting right under the yellow line. So Pena's been showing some good things, and fans are really, really excited in the way he's been bringing to the team and to the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Kevin said JP3 W, and then we have another comment with Jacob saying I think Correa has more clutch. I mean, and I can see that. Just because Correa, whenever the big moment happened, something happened, a big moment, usually Correa was, the face behind that moment. So I can definitely see that. But I would say even defensively now, I think this year he's taken a really big step up because I think that was his only critique when you're comparing Jeremy Pena and Carlos Correa was the defense. But I think he's shown that he can hang with the best of the best.
Yeah, what it was really is people just miss the leadership that Correa brought. I mean, yeah, he did bring a lot of clutching. He did perform well defensively, as and his arm is what a lot of people loved about him. But the main thing that people loved about him was his grittiness, like his love for the game, his ability to be a field general, to go out there and go to the mound and get in Framber's head or whoever's on the mound's head or whoever's on the field. Hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like he was the guy that was just balls to the wall. Pure
Yeah.
out baseball player. He wants to be the leader. He wanted to be involved in everything, and I see the same thing in Pena. He's just not as verbal as it seems that Correa was, but you could tell Jeremy Pena wants to be a leader. He wants to be the number one guy. He wants to be the next face of this team after Altuve, because once Altuve is done, somebody else is going to have to start writing history. Somebody else is going to have to be the new face of the Astros. So why not Pena? I mean, you're going to have to extend this guy sooner or later if he continues to play the way he is.
Yeah, I think he's earning every cent of that paycheck if he does get an extension or, you know, if he does choose free agency when that time comes. But he's really shown. I think a big part of what you've been saying is that's his excuse me his legs and being able to get those infield hits. And this is another stat according to Baseball Reference. Uh, it, you know, Jerry Pena ranks second in the majors in WAR. I think you might have mentioned this last podcast. He's only trails Aaron Judge 5.6, which gives him and he also has had hits in 15 of his last 16 games, which is giving a batting average of 409 and six doubles, three home runs, eight RBIs. Again, that was all in his last 15, 16 games. So he's been producing. I think he's been one of the best hitters for the Astros this season. Besides, I guess you can argue with Baez too has been really good. Jake Myers has been good at times too. Altuve still doing Altuve things, right? But Jerry Pena has found his role, being the table setter for the Astros team, getting on base to give the big guys a chance to bring them in, and it's panned out. I think moving Jeremy Pena to the leadoff spot has been one of the best things for his career and for the Astros, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a huge bonus for us, and especially for him. If he's comfortable there and he feels his groove there, let him continue to mash on out there. He's having a great year. The season that he's having, I mean, I would be pretty shocked if he's not on the All-Star games.
Yeah.
That'll be a complete total robbery, in my opinion, because Pena is just having a superb season for sure for a shortstop.
Would you be shocked if he's not starting the All Star game or if he just doesn't make it?
I think he should be starting. I think in general he should be starting right now. The way things are going out, I think he's in lead of Jacob Wilson. He's in lead of Bobby Witt, and as long as he doesn't take a step backwards or goes through maybe a couple game slump, then he should be good. I think we're about like 45% or so through the season, so he doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That Jacob Wilson, Jeremy Pena is going to be pretty close. I do think both guys
Make
in
it.
Jacob Wilson and Jeremy Pena are definitely a little bit better than Bobby Wood Jr. I know that's kind of hard to say just because Bobby Wood Jr. is that man does really good stuff. But yeah, and then I do want to come back to this comment real quick. It says Astros should make a move for Tristan McKenzie. Uh, wouldn't be a bad idea. It's just the fact of, and I don't think the Astros are opposed to it just because Dana Brown, like he's always said, I feel like his mantra is that he's always looking for pitching, always, like, always looking to, bolster up either the bullpen or rotation. But he went under waivers. I don't think he was picked up, so he has to be traded. And I think, what do the Astros give up? That's that's going to be the big question of who are they willing to, it could be a player named later, maybe some cash if they were, didn't really want him that bad. So could do something, but I wouldn't be opposed. I think it'll be a good move.
Yeah, I think Dana Brown trusts us in what we have. I mean, I did hear about him talking about he's not expecting any pitching back at least to like mid July or towards the end of July, even with Eric Getty, traveling and starting to ramp up on throwing. I believe Dana Brown believes in player development and within our farm, or how he is. He likes to get steals. Get deals done with people, not overpaying, over price tagging somebody, especially on pitching, because pitchers, have the tendency of going down with injuries. So sometimes there's a risk going out for people, especially um, little older guys. Not saying that Tristan's old, but he is not young either. He has experience. He is a nice pitcher, but I wouldn't think it's worth going out for him.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I mean, I like him personally, but like, I don't know. It
He's
depends.
what?
If it's worth it, if it's worth it, like money and it all adds up, because we still got to deal with Hunter Brown and Framber. So
Yeah.
those are the guys you really want to worry about, because we have a whole rotation that's pretty much going to start coming back after July. You're going to start getting guys back little by little. So you kind of, the way we're playing is like, why are you going to rush and uh, potentially trade away some young guys that are developing in the farm? You don't want to lose guys, especially with what's at risk. There's not Astros don't have a lot of prospects in the top 100 system of all of MLB. So what's going to go is going to be like Bryce Matthews, maybe Shea Wickham, maybe DeZenzo or something like that. They're not going to want many people that are in our farm. There's nobody really in our farm that are like blowing out the lights that are catching people's attention. So it's going to be a big loss for us if we try to go get another rental pitcher in a trade or something like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, right now, Tristan McKenzie's numbers in minor leagues, he's 0-1 with a 7.36 ERA. He uh he's pitched in 3 games, started 2 of them. Only has pitched 7.1 innings. So again, hasn't looked hot in the majors this season. Hasn't looked hot in the minor leagues either. So
Yeah, I want to say he had got like a small injury or something, and the Cleveland
mhm.
Guardian was saying that he was struggling to make it back up to the majors. And so, I mean, he has shown good things in the past, but struggling this season, it's a risk.
Yeah, but the Astros will be going up against the Minnesota Twins in this Father Day weekend. The Twins are 36 and 32, second in the AL Central. With teams like the Tigers, the Royals, the Twins hanging in there, being second. They have a pretty good squad. Again, like I said earlier, you're going to be seeing Carlos Correa back, Willie Castro, Christian Vasquez, who's also a former Astro. Guys like Ty France and the Astros have a pretty not so good history. It's like he's like the Luis Robert of the Seattle Mariners when he was with them, right? It's like every time Ty France came to Houston, they played Houston, he turned that switch on and started hitting again. Royce Lewis is in there too, Brian Bruxton. They got some good squads out there. Now, we have some comments saying a sweep. Uh, I don't know.
It's
Uh,
gonna be one of those gritty ones, man. It's gonna be
yeah,
a tough one.
they do. Again, I'm not giving the preaching preview right now, but the Astros do have Hunter Brown pitching, but they also have 2 rookies in between Hunter Brown. So Friday, it's a 7:10 start time. Chris Paddock versus Colton Gordon. Colton Gordon will get 1-1 with a 5.11 ERA. His last outing against Cleveland, he pitched 5 innings, 7 hits, 1 7. Sorry, 5 runs, so 5 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. And the thing about Colton Gordon that makes him really spectacular is his walk percentage. He ranks in 99 percentile on that. Really, I got touched on it earlier. It kind of limits the damage, limits those runners on bases, and that helps him a lot. And a big thing is his fastball. He's able to throw his fastball comfortably because he's not having runners on. His supporting batting average on that is .27. Now, Chris Paddock. Chris Paddock has had a roller coaster season. Started off his first outing in the majors. I'm sorry, in the majors this season. He allowed 9 runs, 9 runs in his first outing, this season, but has been able to settle in, and he is now 2-5 with a 3.53 ERA against Toronto, who has a pretty good team over there in Canada. He pitched 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 1 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Has a 5 pitch mix. Comes up with a fastball, changeup, slider, curveball, and a sinker. He will use his the fastball, changeup, slider, curveball consistently to any pitcher, any hitter. But the sinker is more of you know, a little bit situation. However, the Astros have had success against Chris Paddock. Chris Paddock has only pitched to the Astros twice prior to this Friday start. He's only gone 10 innings in those 2 starts with a 5.40 ERA, allowing 6 runs and 2 home runs. So, I mean, the Astros have had success against Chris Paddock, but this is a different looking Astros team. But, guys like Christian Walker, Isaac Fighters have seen Paddock, for a pretty good while too.
Yeah, it should be a good matchup right here. Chris Paddock versus Colton Gordon. I believe Paddock's projected to have a pretty good game against us. That's what people are saying. But I think otherwise with the way our offense is rolling, but who knows? Everybody has different stuff, and everybody sees the ball differently against certain pitchers. And as for Colton Gordon, this should be a good game for him to prove that he's here and that he could do this, that he's a big leaguer, because this is a pretty good team, has a couple of slugging righties that you don't want to leave anything over the plate with, especially in Correa or Byron Buxton, the one he thinks second farthest home run the other day, like 470 or something crazy like that. And he's going to be a havoc this series, especially, here at Minute Maid. Those righties are going to be pulling the ball. So be ready to see a lot of balls probably fly off the left center gap or off the Crawford box from both sides of the ball. But this should be a good matchup on the first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, even Carlos Correa, who's very used to the dimensions of Minute Maid Park, could easily, take, he knows he can take the ball the other way and sneak in a home run and stuff like that. So, got to be on your A game with that. Saturday's game is a 3:10 start time. Joe Ryan versus Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown again has been amazing. 8-3 with a 1.82 ERA versus Cleveland. He went 5.5 in the third innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts. What I'm looking for Hunter Brown this outing is to limit the walks. This is back-to-back outings where he's allowed 4 or more walks, and that has not been that has allowed him not to go more than 6 innings. So I think once he's able to do that, he'll be back. And then dating back to June 1st, 2024. Brown has gone 18-7 with a 2.13 ERA in 32 starts, while posting 26 quality starts in those outings since last year. So again, Hunter Brown, I just continue to expect great things out of him. Joe Ryan is going to be his counterpart, and this is going to be a good pitching matchup too. Joe Ryan versus Hunter Brown, because those are two great pitchers there. Joe Ryan is 7-2 with a 2.96 ERA, so kind of goes toe to toe with Hunter Brown. Versus Toronto, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Has a 6-pitch arsenal of a fastball, split finger, sweeper, sinker, slider, and curveball. Now, Ryan has an elite fastball, just like Hunter Brown. You're going to see a huge dose of the fastballs in this outing. Ryan's fastball has an opponent batting average of .174, has a off his put-away page is 25.8%, so he likes to get people out. And he's actually has more strikeouts on his fastball than Hunter Brown does. Joe Ryan has 55 strikeouts on his fastball compared to the 47 that Hunter Brown has. So these are going to be two guys that are gonna throw that fastball and dare you to hit it, dare you to try to put it in play because they know they got a good fastball that can get people out.
Yeah, this is gonna be a badass game. Excuse my language there. But this is gonna be a good game. I believe it's gonna be a phenomenal pitching duel. Joe Ryan has been having a great year, as for Hunter Brown as well. So this is gonna be a game where the offense might be a little more quiet. You might be seeing
Yeah.
3 up, 3 downs. You're gonna see a lot of nice pitching on display in this game. So this is gonna be one for the pitching fans. I'm sure the batting fans are going to be a little bored or might be on their phone this game, but those who really love ball are going to be paying attention to this one. This is the game you really want to watch. It should be an exciting one, especially being a Saturday at 3:10. So it should be a nice, pretty game, especially with the sun being out there and everything. It could be a good weekend. And
Yeah, Jeremy Pena bobblehead on that Saturday game too. But
a river hat.
yeah, there you go. But I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if this is a low scoring affair. The Friday and the Sunday game, I can see those being a little bit more offense heavy. The Astros or Twins putting up some runs, but yeah, this Saturday game, like Stephon said, if you like pitching, that is the outing to go. On Sunday, though, you do have a 1:10 start time. Simeon Woods Richardson versus Brandon Walter. Brandon Walter has earned another start in this Astros rotation, and he's been phenomenal. He's has yet to record a win. He's 0-0, but has a 1.64 ERA. He is making his third start of the season. His last start against Cleveland, he pitched 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, and I think the Astros found like a hidden gem in this guy. I think this is a guy, like we said earlier, that no one didn't really cause so much attention, but when his number was called, uh, he's delivered. And a big part of that is his off-speed pitches. They've been great. The sweeper, let's start with that. And he has an advantage with that sweeper because of his arm slot comes out kind of in a funny way, so it creates a lot of spin, a lot of movement that could be deceiving to the hitter. His sweeper has an opponent batting average of .167, a whiff rate of 30.5, and a put away pitch of 33.3. So basically, he's putting a third of the hitters away on that slider. I'm sorry, on that sweeper. And his changeup has been equally as good. Opponent batting average of .125 with a whiff rate of 31.1. So he hitters know he's gonna throw that fastball for strikes. He's not gonna shy away from that, but they know that they're gonna be getting that sweeper and changeup eventually, and they just haven't been doing uh enough with it. Now, I know this is a small sample size. He's only had 2 starts. I understand that. Now, this is gonna be an important start for Brandon Walter, in my opinion. This is his third start. Teams have film on him. Teams have been seeing those, his what pitch he throws with 2 strikes, what pitch, like those pregame analytics. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up his success against a good team like the Minnesota Twins. So interesting to see in that. Now he will be going against Simon Woods Richardson, who's 2-3 with a 5.74 ERA, versus Texas. Woods Richardson went 4.2 innings pitched with 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Comes in to this with a 5 pitch mix with a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and split finger. However, things haven't been pretty for Woods Richardson since the start. Honestly, since his first start on April 1st, he has only pitched 5 or more innings in three times, and that's out of 9 starts since basically opening day. And he has back consecutive starts allowing 6 runs or more. So this could be advantage Astros, but we've said this a million times. If been listening to this podcast for a year, we give you these stats about the pitchers who have not been doing really good, and then come to Minute Park and throw a gem. So I wouldn't count Woods Richardson out, but just know the Astros could, like, if the Astros are going to be having a lot of offensive game, this game could be it.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good matchup. For the Astros, especially just because it's going to take plate discipline right here, and this is going to be Richardson. He's a little banged up, but he does throw a lot of off speed. So this is going to see who has bad discipline and is going to put the right balls in play. Who's going to build walks, who's going to probably be a lot of full counts in this game. As for offense, this is probably going to be a good game, especially for Father's Day with all the fathers out there, the families out there. It might be a high scoring game for offense for the Astros, so it might be a good game for you to attend. As far for Brandon Walter, and I think he's going to try to prove something. He's going to try to stay strong and have another bounce back outing. I liked what he showed the first time, and he doesn't show signs of that he's going to show worse things, especially not walking anybody and getting a lot of whiffs.
Absolutely. And we got more comments coming in. At Mark Green, at Kevin starting to recommend your spot. I can't stop watching. Appreciate the support there, honestly.
Thank you for
But
newcomers coming by and showing support. Continue to spread and let your family, your friends, your coworkers, anybody, come in and give us a listen. We like to see everybody's comments. We love to interact with every single one of y'all. We try not to be just specifically about sports. We like to interact with y'all and have conversations. So appreciate every single one of y'all.
yeah, absolutely. And we had this comment a while ago. It says news on Spencer Stevan. So anyone to deliver the injury report for Spencer Rigetti?
Well, if you insist, Mr. Alvarado, I'll go in with the Astros injury updates. We'll start off right with you. We asked for Spencer Arrighetti. Per Brian McTarget's article, Spencer Arrighetti thumb is completely healed. So he is building up to what would be an early what he would be doing early spring training. So he's ramping back up and hopefully we'll see him pretty soon. I wouldn't be thinking of like a week or two, probably looking like mid July. It's something you don't want to rush up, especially it being his pitching thumb. So you want it to be completely healed. You don't want him to come back and have no control or just freaking re-injure himself or cause more pain on himself. Especially as a young guy, and Astros believe in this kid and he has a bright future for us. So you don't want him to be injury prone. You want him to stay as healthy as the kid can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still no timetable on his return either. So the Astros are going to take it home slow with him. And like you said, as you're right, because it is his pitching count, they're going to make sure he is, good to go. And they actually, he's been throwing the ball, pregame and stuff like that. And they actually have a time, like the pitch clock on him to make sure he's not overdoing it, to make sure he's not, you know, throwing harder than he needs to be. So it's gonna be again interesting to see when he'll be back. But I agree with you. I'm thinking maybe uh right before the All-Star break or after. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah, and Eric
And
Eddie's
then
one of those guys that he wants to be out there. So, he's trying his best. He's doing his hardest to be out there. He's always active in the dugout, whether he's playing or not. And I'm sure he's out there trying to give his best on recovery. So I'm pretty sure they're watching over him too, trying to make sure he's not trying to overdo himself because I bet you he's ready to get going, especially with the way the Astros are rolling and all these pitchers coming up and down and this and that. He's like, man, I want to secure my spot, make sure I'm here.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure they're gonna take it slow with him too because I don't want him. The things with pitchers is if you rush too quickly, that's when those shoulder injuries, elbow injuries can build up. And the Astros already lost two pitchers. With Tommy John. They don't want to lose a third, so they're gonna be taking it, like I said, slow with Spencer Rigetti. And Isaac Paredes, if you were watching Game 3 of this White Sox series, left the game uh, after appearing to injure his left leg while running out a double play in the seventh inning. He was able to walk off the field under his own power, but after the inning ended, Dubon went to play third base. This is per Channel Rome. Isaac Paredes has a left hamstring ailment. Joe Espada said they'll know more tomorrow. So I doubt he plays tomorrow, especially those hamstring injuries can be tricky. It may hurt, and then you know it can come back. So I think they're gonna give him a few days. I would say I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even play the Minnesota series either. So could be just to give him time to rest, but we'll see what happens. It's just the thing with the Astros is that they're gonna say it's a discomfort or ailment. We really don't know what's going on, right? So it's a hamstring, tricky. That's as soon as we find out more, we'll let you know.
Yeah, those hamstrings ain't no joke, especially when last time I pulled mine, freaking playing baseball and thought it was gonna be like a couple day thing. It freaking ended up bothering me for like 2 weeks. So you never know. But the way these guys have training staff and everything, the process could be a little bit faster. But once again, like Cantu mentioned, you can re-injure it pretty easily, especially trying to leg out. Baseball is a game of instant sprints and stuff like that. So you don't want to injure himself and especially rush him coming back from that. So you want him to recover fully, especially with the season being long and trying to go for another World Series.
Yeah. And it's just thanks for the update, Ken. To appreciate it. Of course, that's what FSA is here for. Uh Before we let you go, we did reach the hour mark, but Esteban, you got anything else to say before we hang it up here?
Yeah, but despite all this offense and starting pitching talk, I wanted to give some love to my bullpen guys. So Brian King, 13th holds in MLB, which is the most in the seventh with the lead. Brian Abreu, 0.0 ERA with 16 holds, the most in MLB in the eighth inning with the lead. And Hader, 1.57, 18 saves, pitching in ninth inning or more with the lead. I believe he's perfect 18 or 18 on the season of saves as well. So the fireman is lights out. Don't forget, stay hydrated. Get you some Haterade.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean the bullpen's been good. I think Brian Abreu uh hasn't allowed a run in 27 of his last 29 appearances too. So he's been really good there. So, but that is all what we got for today. We'll see you back either on I believe Sunday. Do the Astros play Monday? We look at the calendar.
I believe we do play again Monday. I think. Let me see, because I know we're going on the road after Sunday. I believe. Let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, they do play Monday. So most likely, I'm still either Sunday or Monday. Uh, we'll let you know when we'll record via tweet. Uh, Sunday is Father's Day, so might be looking at a 9 o'clock recording on Monday just to make sure. It could be like, oh, the Astros play at 9 o'clock, so we'll give you like the real game updates while that is happening there too. But again, we had a really, really great crowd today. I think one of the biggest crowds we've had this season too. So we appreciate the numbers jumping up. We appreciate y'all, tuning in, commenting. We love the engagement, love the comments. Uh, you know, Esteban over here getting compliments about his striped shirt. So, we appreciate the interaction. Thank you for tuning in. You know, tell your friends, subscribe. We'll give you all the updates for Astros baseball, and peace.
Peace out and happy Father's Day for those.
Oh yeah, absolutely.